Welcome to Conversations with K and J. We're your hosts, Kayla and Janae.
In here, we talk about love, life,
and lessons learned. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Daily Doses of Conversations with Kayla
and Janae.
In today's energy, we have the message of look through the eyes of a child. How exciting is it that each moment is a moment we have not yet experienced? It's as if we are looking through the eyes of a child, amazed by and in awe of anything and everything. As we grow older, we forget the miracle of a new moment. When we realize this miracle, it restores our aliveness and reawakens our sense of wonder in the world. This is how we can try to live our lives, to temporarily suspend our regrets of the past and worries of the future, and see the moment with fresh eyes, as if looking through the eyes of a child.
I think this message is saying to stop doing life and start living life. And be a kid again. Be excited to do things that are fun and not just work.
Right. I feel like the other day we were telling Kaylee, enjoy being a child, because I feel like the more you get older, the less fun things start to become, because you know more about the world and you're more in your head. I feel like for me, I've always been a risk taker, a very adventurous person. And now the thought of, being that adventurous kind of puts me in my head a little more as I grow older.
Yeah, I think as adults, we start to think of those things as a waste of time. Like we look so ahead of the future and we don't be present in the moment, that by even doing those things that are fun can set us up for living life in the future.
Right. And it's thoroughly enjoying the fun that comes with what you're building or creating, because I still think I do things that bring out that inner child, but it's, in my mind, balanced with adulthood as well.
Right.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna dance and I'm gonna, create my own business, but I still need to be making money from it.
Right. Everything ends up turning into money. If I do this, how can I make money from it, instead of just I want to do this because it's going to make me smile. It's going to make me feel healthy again, or...
Right. So when you say that, it makes me think of how we look at self-care, or doing the things that make us feel good individually, whether it's getting a massage or getting that coffee, or, something that just seems unnecessary at times, but really it is.
It's a need, right? You want to get that massage, but it's $100 for the massage. You want to drink that sweet coffee, but you worried about the calories. Girl, just let it go. As a kid, we didn't think of any of that. We didn't think about hurting ourselves. We didn't think about, anybody else around us. We just did it.
Right. And I guess
when I played basketball, I didn't even stretch. I didn't care. Just go out there and just play.
Right. Well, I guess that's where the balance does come in, because you don't have a parent or a coach telling you
right
the things that you do have to be mindful of. As much as I would love to go do jumps and backflips without stretching, like you said,
as an adult, you know the benefits. Of doing the little things before you just jump into something.
Right.
Right.
And I also know I'm more prone to pulling something because I am older. But
is that just that mental blockage as an adult that puts that fear in you that you can't just go out there and do it? As we get older, we tell ourselves, oh, I'm too old to do that. And it that's another mental block of telling yourself that you can't. You can't just go out there and bust a backflip when it's already muscle memory. Because I get older, I'm not going to lose my jump shot. I've just told myself I'm old, and when I jump, it hurts. So my jump shot is just gone. And that's not true. If I go out there and pick up the ball like a kid again and just shoot.
But when I get on that mat and try to bust a split, I'm not going all the way down to the ground anymore. So that's what reminds me, like, oh, girl, you better keep doing it before you lose it.
Well, you stop doing all the other kid-like things that
contributed
that
to
contributed
that
to you
flexibility.
being.
True. So this message is paired with the Three of Pentacles and the Page of Cups. So this is definitely speaking on things coming together in such a new, fresh way for you. In the illustration of the Three of Pentacles, we're looking at a couple holding a brand new baby. And this is turning a new leaf in life. So whether you are giving birth to an actual child or you're birthing a new reality, this is going to require a new perspective of you. And I think children are a great example to remind us, again, the innocence and the freedom of not thinking so much, but more so doing, to experience, to learn new things about ourselves, about life. And I think that collectively we've been in a place of just having to go through the mundane darkness of maybe realities that we didn't even really know existed or were real. And it was intentionally done to suck the life and the hopelessness and the innocence out of us. But what is coming in to us now is meant for us to truly enjoy and live back in that innocence so that things can come together in a more beautiful, freeing way. Because the Page of Cups is Pisces energy, and Pisces is a very freeing and fun energy when it's in a high vibration, when it's not weighed down by their emotions or the emotions of other people and things around them, right? So this Three of Pentacles is clarified by the Nine of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck. This is breaking away from codependencies and becoming to a more independent state of mind. And so codependencies in this sense, it could be relations and things like that, but this is more so of the things that you're telling yourself or that you're believing mentally that affects your physical, that affects your abundance and your prosperity and your flow in life, because the Page of Cups is then clarified by Temperance. So temperance is always going to be looked at as like the alignment of the mind, the body, and the soul, being on one accord. If you truly desire to be fulfilled in a childlike way, you have to bring in the childlike mind, or you're always going to hit, I don't know, you're going to collide.
Blockage, yeah. I think the example of like starting a family or having children is a good example, because people believe that it all just like ends there. The relationship, the romance, the career, we start to think that we have to start doing things that work to the future, instead of realizing like having children just makes you remember that there's more fun to come.
Yeah. And it brings out a different version of you.
Like you have to change, right? You have to like be ready for the openness and then adapt to the things that are changing.
Yes.
Like when you had Kaylee, you was a dancer, right? And then you had Kaylee and you felt like, well, it didn't stop you from wanting to dance.
Initially it did.
Right.
Initially I felt like, okay, well now I'm a mom. I got to be more mature-minded, more responsible. All this just trying to dance and be a dancer, like that's not going to be realistic. Like I really did go into a place of thinking like my life just stops and revolves around me raising Kaylee. And I feel like I sat in that energy for maybe the first year, and I was really depressed because I was like 21 at that point, and I'm like, dang, I still have so much life to live. Like
Right.
I'm already aging myself in a sense to believe that my life is done, and I'm just like here to be of
Just
service.
provide for her, right?
Yeah, and I feel like God very well spoke to me and told me like, no, it's my opportunity to be an example. Like I want Kaylee to see that regardless of what comes her way, she can always still like succeed in the things that she believes in. And at that time of me getting pregnant, I had just got a contract at Dallas dance company. So I was about to be a part of like a dance company and live out my dreams. I was set to go to Alvin Ailey in New York for a summer intensive camp. And that's really, again, what made me feel like, man, all my dreams and hopes are lost. But God was doing that, or allowing me to have that experience, to show me that, one, it did not have to be in the way that I always thought that it needed to be.
Right.
And after having Kaylee, I realized that though those were great opportunities, it still wasn't the way that I wanted to show up within what I was seeking in life.
Right.
And so I got the opportunity to make dance what it was for me, but also explore different things along the way. Like, I mean, I found spirituality. I created Evolving Spiritually. So it is that innocent, I don't know, fool type of energy where you're just going with the flow, where you're trusting and having faith in life and letting it like lead you to where you need to be.
Right. Sometimes you thought it was just dance, but then you picked up so many other things along the way by just like trying.
Just experiencing and going through it. And I feel like my mother used to give us that example, but in a more like corporate sense. She would always tell my sister and I, like, just go apply for that job. You never know like where it's gonna lead you. And you know, within my sister, she started off being a teller, and now she's like a VP in one of the biggest stock companies. So it's like you never know where that starting point is going to land you in the end, but it is going to require a new version of yourself that is releasing the restrictions and the limitations of the past, of who you used to show up as, so that you can fully feel free. You know, like I couldn't go into raising Kaylee with the mindset of me not having that same responsibility. You know, like it required me to have that balance. I wasn't just about to go put her off on everyone else and then go chase my dreams and be like, at the end, like, see what mommy accomplished? Like, I wanted to take her
along
with
for the
me
ride, right?
So she could experience it herself, because it's a learning experience for her as well.
I think people need to release the control that they think that we think that we have. Like, we really have no control around what life is going to throw at us and what that's going to look like. And if we release a little bit and just, like I said, live life, it's all set up for us anyways.
Right.
The way that it's supposed to be.
Yeah. And I think that's perfect, because the King of Pentacles came out to clarify the Three of Pentacles. And that would be releasing control in a sense, so that things can form and build naturally without taking the life out of you, you know, or you getting into a place of trying to force or control things.
Yeah, like beating a dead drum that just like, that drum ain't making no more sound. Like, it's done. It's time to try something new. If we can get in that place of having so much control over things that we think, oh, it's got to be this way, and we're going to force it. And it just don't, it leads us to nowhere. It ends up being something that you realize you wasn't that, like, happy with.
Right. So this is challenging us to also look at our perspective on money, on wealth, on not necessarily material gains, but how you see value. And it's really one of those moments of quality over quantity, you know? So it's getting back to square one of what you seek as valuable and aligning yourself with what that is today. Because if you grew up in a foundation where, you know, your family encouraged you to be like a doctor or a lawyer, you always felt like that was going to be your most valuable and successful route in life, because that's what you were told growing up. But if you are a person who's not seeking the luxuries and all the money in the world, and you like the simple things, and again, not being broke or anything like that, but if that's not truly where your heart's desire is, I feel like this is what is coming to the forefront for a lot of us, whether that's within your career, your home, family, or within yourself. There's things that you have gone through that have helped you grow to truly see the foundation or the roots within you, and you're coming back to that place. So you may be stripped away from a lot of things that, again, society or family has put onto you that really doesn't fit for you anymore. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So under the Nine of Pentacles, we have the Wheel of Fortune. So this is all about things unfolding and unraveling within divine timing. This is fate and destiny. So whatever is falling away right now, whatever mindsets and perspectives you're being, asked to release or see through at this moment, it's not fearing that it's going to turn your life into a negative. This is really where you have to start surrendering and bringing in that faith that it will lead you to exactly where you need to be. And like we spoke probably on episode 2, where you need to be is ultimately where you are going to want to be. It just happened in a way that you may have not thought, or it may be something that you could never have comprehended before.
Right. It's about just going with your gut and not going with what you see. Just using your eyes and not using your heart.
Right. And I think when you get to this conflicting place within yourself mentally, you have to really question yourself and ask, with the things that you have been holding on to, whether mentally, physically, emotionally, people, places, spaces, are you in the balance that you seek? Because that is really going to be the answer of what needs to be released and let go so that you can bring in that balance. And that's what I mean, like a person trying to sustain, a high maintenance lifestyle, when at the end of the day, all they're seeking is like a home and love. Like that may end up looking different, but you may be more fulfilled. You're used to living in New York City where it's always busy, go in a high-rise, expensive luxury condo, and then get placed in the middle of the country somewhere with cows and chickens, and you find more peace there. But that's going to require a different version of you to show up, because walking in heels and name brand clothes is not going to be a necessity out there. And if you feel like that is what makes you who you are, you're going to feel lost without focusing on what is truly feeding your soul, right? That's like a surface level example, but I feel like that's the best way I could break that energy down. Is like we are collectively getting stripped away from the norm, from what we consider the norm in some kind of way. And for some people, it may make you feel like you're losing yourself or you have lost yourself, but you have really let go and released the parts that weren't really you to begin with. And that's why you struggled in the way that you did in order to find the peace and the balance that you've always been seeking. Yeah.
Yeah. Right on.
Right on. All right. So, yeah, I guess we'll just stop there, because it's pretty much the cards is leading us to the same thing. This is really about your confidence and your motivation to move forward, to find that balance that you're seeking, and realizing that, again, it may not look like what you thought that it would, but once you get to experience that sense of peace and fulfillment and understanding, everything will fall into place and make sense for you. It's just making me think of us like moving to Mexico, and we spoke to people prior to moving here, and some of those people ended up moving back after their first 6 months because they were not willing to adjust or try different things or see themselves in a different way that challenged them to grow. And it's not to say that moving to a different country and a different culture is not a complex thing to experience, because it is, but it also will reveal to you how flexible you are, how much you're willing to stretch and grow within yourself to see what you're capable of doing and being as well. And again, I feel like Mexico has been a great example for us to see that we are pretty flexible people, and we can pretty much adapt to any circumstance that has been given to us. It's not to say that, you're not going to have frustrations in the beginning because things are going to be different. And that's what I mean. It doesn't have to be a dramatic difference, but coming here, you know, you have to call and get gas delivered so you can have hot water. And that was something that we were not used to. You just pay a bill online and you got electricity and heat and things like that. But a lot of things are more manual in Mexico. And so it was frustrating at first, but it wasn't nothing that we couldn't adjust to, you know? So you're going to go through this next season of life where you're going to have adjustments, and it's not going to be in excuse my language, in a piss poor way. It's not going to be anything worse than what you've experienced, but it's going to be in something that challenges you to really believe that you are capable and able to have the things that you're seeking, right? So even if you go from living on a farm to now being in a big city, if we reverse it, being in a big city and having to adjust to the busyness or the noise and the things, is not feeling overwhelmed, but knowing that that is exactly where you should be. And those changes or those irritations is ultimately what's going to grow you into a more expansive person than you have before. I feel like I've become a more patient person in Mexico than I was in the States, because everything is not just like...
Yeah. I think it's really hard to reprogram yourself and to accept new freedoms that come along with that. And like you said, moving to Mexico, we had a different type of freedom.
Right.
And
all around.
It was hard to adjust because you start to feel like, because I have a little more time to do stuff, that I'm not feeling it. It's hard to not feel your time and just do nothing, you know? And it's hard to reprogram that when you are in the hustle and bustle of everything.
Yeah. But you always have what you need. Again, it's just really how you see life and see yourself within it. I think my biggest irritation coming here was it doesn't have the amount of resources that we have in the States. And it's not all of Mexico. It's the space that we're living in, the town that we're living in. And so that was my irritation. I can't just get in the car and go to TJ Maxx or, Target or something like that.
But you realize sometimes it's just distractions, and that's just you wanting to just fill time, spend money.
Yeah. So that was the readjusting, but it also, again, showed me throughout these 2 years, is it even necessary? Is that even something that I need? Or, again, is it just a distraction? Or I wouldn't say a waste, but
right.
It's not necessary. And there's ways around it, So this next phase of life is about readjusting, but also not getting down on yourself and believing that you're not capable and able to resonate within that space and place and whatever that you're building and creating. As long as you stand in your truth and your authenticity, a way will always be made for you. So even if you're creating a business and you feel like you're not going to stand out or everyone else is doing it, what's going to set you apart is you. So be a child.
Yeah. Go out, have some fun.
And then, like I told you the other day in your reading, you have to get in the mindset of a child just out on the playground or around other kids.
Yeah, go.
It's as a child, you ain't thinking about outshining no other kid. You just being you. But those adults will usually notice, oh, there's something special about that one, in math class, when you doing your math problem, you ain't sitting there thinking about outdoing nobody in math. But because you are focused and you have that knowledge, you're always going to stand out till you get in middle school and high school and people be like, you're a know-it-all.
Yeah, because when you are doing it, even as an adult, you be you look at other adults doing, I don't know, skating or something, or out there stretching in the middle of a field. You be like, dang, look at that. Look at that.
That shit looks amazing.
That shit looks fun.
And I'm just here.
Right.
But where you are is your uniqueness because nobody else is there.
Right.
So
be that inspiration to everybody else, that you're out there just doing kid stuff, that you're just having fun and enjoying life and turning off the adult mood
Yeah.
for just a little bit.
I really feel like this is genuinely getting back to you. I feel like collectively this is who we've always been. And maybe this is what has brought people into feeling jealous or envious of us, because we've always been able to do those childlike things. But that's what I meant, like the hardships that we just experienced were purposeful to try to make us feel like that wasn't okay, or that wasn't
you can't be doing
sustainable, and that's not the truth. So keep standing in you and what truly inspires and fulfills you, so that you can wake up every day and want to live life and want to do life. Because if you're choosing and doing things that you don't want to, every day is going to be a drag. All right? And then you become a hag. And those are not fun people. So.
Right. And you start closing the door of creativeness. And you just start being basic. And we all got special gifts. We all got something to bring to the world.
Table.
So.
Yeah. And there's enough to go around as well. So. Yeah, I think that's it. I think we're going to end it there. We love you guys. We hope y'all have a great day, and we will talk to you in our next one. Bye.